This is one character which is enclosed between the quotes, single quotes. So our read character na null character alli replace ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. Please observe, this is see out, and this is I'll be using this to print. I have not defined this function here. I'm just calling this function. I have whatever I'm typing. So everything is going and it is getting saved in yes. So fine. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the third session on functions. Hope all of you have watched session 1 and 2. What is that we have discussed in session 1 and 2? It's very important. So guys, let me give you a small quick recap on session 1 and 2, what I have done, where exactly I have stopped, what is that we have learned, all those things. Let's have a quick recap before I start this session. So what is that we have discussed? So we have discussed what is functions. What is the first thing that we have discussed? What is function? So after that we have also discussed the types of functions. What is that? Types of functions. In that we have two types of function. One is predefined functions. That is what I will call it as a library functions. That is what I will call it as a library functions. And the second type is user defined function. Second type is user defined function. After discussing this, I started discussing one more concept, that is header files. That is header files. What is this header file, sir? So how many different header files we have, and what is the different functions that we have in different header files? That is what we have discussed in the first session. So fine, after the first session, what is that we have discussed in the second session? So we started discussing the different concepts of character. So we started discussing the character, and also we discussed how to read the character with the help of get function, how to write the character with the help of put function is what we have discussed. So that's all about the character that we have discussed. So fine, what else we discussed? So we started discussing something called group of characters. This is one character which is enclosed between the quotes, single quotes. So this is string. So strings, basics of strings is what we have discussed in the previous session. So what are strings? Strings are nothing but group of characters, A, B, C, D. So that's what you need to understand. How do we read that? All those concepts with respect to strings is what we have discussed. How do we store the character? So we use the character array. So guys, so this was the last topic that we have discussed in the second session. So fine. So this is the quick recap for all of you. What is that I have for all of you in this session? I have all these things, especially how do I read the string? How do I read the string? That's what I will call it as inputting the string. And then how do I print the string is what I will be calling it as outputting the string. After that, I have very important thing. So that is functions which is related to the strings. What is that? The functions which is related to the strings. This is what I will be discussing in today's session, and it's very important. If I say the word, so please remember, if I say the word string, you have to understand, or you should be able to recollect these functions. This is going to be very important for all of you. Let me start with the first topic that I have, inputting a string. How do I read the string from the user? So please listen to me carefully. I will be using the cin that I already know. I use that. So what is the function that I use? Please remember, if I want to read a character, I was using the function called get. So this will help me to read one character. But when it comes to the line, if I have multiple characters, which is the function that I should use? I should use the get line. So please understand that. What is the function that I use to read the characters? I use get line. get line. That's what you need to understand. So fine, inside that, what is that I have to pass? I have to pass the string. I have to pass the string as a parameter. Along with that, I have to pass the size. I have to pass the size. So we did not understood what did you said in this. Let me take an example for that. So guys, look here, I have st. So st is equal to, let's say, hello. So hello is a string. Can I call this as a string? Sir, ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ string ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದರಿಂದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, which is enclosed between the double quotes. So that's why I'll call it as a string. So ಈ string ನ ಈ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Okay? So ಈ string ನ I am storing it in a variable. Fine. So ಈಗ I'm passing this st andre idu. So I have this string in this variable. So yen size idradu, let's imagine 25. So 25, that is what I have to mention here. Size of the string is what you have to mention here. So after that you will call this function. So yen artha aaytu nimge iga I'm calling this get line. So get line is a function to read the string more than one character, but I have to pass two parameters. One is string, another one is the size of the string. One is string, another one is size of the string. That is what you need to remember. So fine, let's check what is that I have. Get line. The function terminates reading the character on reading a new line character or when the number of characters read is equal to the size. What is that you have understood? So ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಈ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ /0 ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಿಮಗೆ /0 ಸಿಕ್ಕುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕನೂ ಇದು ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್ /0? I have discussed that in the previous class. Always last character of the string should be /0. ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ /0 ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ, ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ /0 ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ. So if I encounter /0, that is the end of the string is what you need to understand. ಇದು ಒಂದು. Second method is the characters whatever I have read, so that character's number and the size what I have mentioned should match. If it is matching, then it will understand that it has taken all the characters completely. That's what you need to understand, right? The next one, the new line characters is read but replaced by null character. It is replaced by null character. What is that? The new line character is read. The new line character is read. So our read character na null character alli replace ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. That's what you need to understand. What is the new line character? /n. So that is replaced by null character. So what's the next one that I have? Outputting a string. So guys, only this you need to observe. What is that I have? So cout dot write. Cout dot write. So only the change that I have is cout dot write. So string as well as size remains as it is. So what is the speciality of write? Whatever you pass as a parameter that will be printed is what you need to understand, right? That is the only change that you can observe here. So there I was writing cin dot get line, but here I am just writing cin dot, is it cin? No, please observe, this is cout, and this is I'll be using this to print. So the parameter remains same, string comma size is what we will give. So write function displays the specified number of characters. So whatever the number of characters that you specify, that will be displayed. This function does not stop displaying the characters when encountering the null character. As a result, if the size specified is greater than the length of the string. So what exactly this write function is doing? So please understand, write function displays the specified number of characters. But you need to understand one more thing. So this is very, very important. Even the length, whatever you have, even the length whatever you have of the string is greater than size, it will print beyond that. That is what you have to remember. That is what you have to remember. But when it comes to get line, so when it is reading, so it will stop whenever it encounters the /0. Whenever it encounters the /0 or the number of characters read is equal to the size, then it stops. But In write, it is not like that. That is what you need to remember. Moving on to the next one, I have some small program to demonstrate the concept of like, to read a string and to print the string, right? So what is this? I call this as header file. Please observe here. So I have included string.h. So why are you including string.h? I'm using some of the functions which is related to strings, which is predefined and stored in string.h. Suppose if I don't call this header file, I will not be using that function in this program. What is the function that you have used, sir? Let me explain that one by one, guys. What is this void main? Void in the sense by now probably you would have understood. So this is return type. What is void? This is return type. So what is this? This is main function. From exactly here I will be executing, I'll be starting my execution of the program. So fine, after that I have flower bracket, open flower bracket. Then what is that I have? I have declared, so character data type. This is my character data type. Why should I do that? So please observe here, I have the array. I have the array. If I have the square bracket like this, before the square bracket if I have a, so this is what I will call it as array. This is what I will call it as array. So what type of array this is? This is a character type array. This is a character type array. So what is that you are going to store? I am going to store the characters in the array. I'm going to store the characters in the array is what you need to understand. So fine. After that, I'm creating one more variable. So that is of what type? That variable is of type int. Let me just take L of type int. So fine. I have two variables. One is of array. Another one is L. So that's what you need to remember. Fine. I have CLR SCR. So this is very important. This is what I will call it as a function call. I have not defined this function here. I'm just calling this function. I have defined it in the header file which I am calling. That's what you need to remember. So why do I use this? Because to clean the screen of the previous output. Fine. Please observe here. I have cout. So what is that I am doing in the cout? Whatever I give within double quotes, I will be printing as it is on the output screen. So what will be, if I execute this statement, what will be my output? So I will have enter the string. Enter the string is what I will have my output as. That's what you need to understand. So please observe, I have colon also. Even that colon will also be printed. Whatever you give within double quotes, that will be printed as it is. Fine. Then after that, what is that I have? Cin dot get line. I'll be reading the characters. I'll be reading the characters. What is the name of the string? So yes is the name of the string. What is that 50 that you have given? That is the size that you have given. So this is what you need to understand here. So we are reading the characters. So that's what you need to remember. Fine. Then what is the next line that I have? What is the next line that I have? So I have L is equal to string length of yes. What is the meaning of it? Yes, in the sense whatever I have read. So I have stored it in yes. I have stored it in yes. That's what you need to remember. Whatever I am typing, so everything is going and it is getting saved in yes. So fine. So I don't know the length of yes, how much I have. Say for example, yes of 10 contains Mysuru. What is the length of this? Do I know the length of this? No, I don't know the length of the string. So how do I find the length of the string? So for that, I will be using this predefined function, strlen. I'm going to discuss this in the coming slide. So why do we use this function? So we use this function to find the length of the string. We use this function to find the length of the string. Please don't get confused here. The length will always start from 1. Always it starts from 1. So how many characters I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What will be the length of this Mysuru? 6. So the answer will be 6 if I have entered Mysuru as my string. That's what you need to remember. So then after that, cout, the given string is. So this will be printed as it is. Then after that, cout dot write. So whatever I have, yes dot length. Whatever I have, yes dot length. Yes in the sense what? In this yes I have stored Mysuru. So till where I have to print? So what is the length of the string? 6. So that is what I will pass as a parameter. So what is yes? I have Mysore here. So that Mysore will be printed. That's what you need to remember. After that, get CH. I'll close the program. This is how this program is working for all of you. Moving on to the next concept. This is what I have explained in the previous slide. Let me not bore you guys by saying the same thing. String length is used to count the number of characters that you have in the string. So if I pass like this function will give you the length of the string. Always it starts from 1. Always it starts from 1. Don't get confused. I'll tell you why I'm using this word. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is the length of this string. That's what you need to remember. Moving on to the next one. So guys, I have taken a simple program to find the length of the string using the library function. So the same thing what we have done in the previous program, we have done the same thing. Please observe here, we are just calculating the length. This is how we calculate the length, and we are just printing the length. So here I am just printing as it is, length is equal to, but the value of L I am using it here. So if I don't use the double quotes, whatever the value that I have in the variable, so that will be printed as it is. Please observe here, ನಾನು ಏನು ಡಬಲ್ ಕೋಟ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದು ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಡಬಲ್ ಕೋಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. This is what we call it as a cascading operator. Do you remember we have discussed this in input output operators in the chapter? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಕೇಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಸೊ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದು, ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ನಾನು ಈ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಲ್ಲೊಳಗಡೆ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್. All these things we discussed in the previous program, the same thing, but we are just calculating the length. That's what you need to remember. Moving on to the next one, we have string cat. String cat in the sense string concatenation. So ಏನು concatenation ಅಂದ್ರೆ you are joining one string to another string. That's what you need to remember. Let's take an example here. So this is the syntax. This is the syntax that you need to remember when it comes to the string cat. So what is that? strcat, string concatenation ಗೆ string cat ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. string 1 ಮತ್ತೆ string 2. string 1 ಮತ್ತೆ string 2 ಎರಡು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಹೆಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇನ್ ದ string 1 I have win. In the string 2 I have DOWS8. Suppose if I perform string concatenation operation for string 1 and 2, so what will be my result? Please observe here, this is what I will give. So string 1 andre idu, string 2 andre idu. Okay, so if I perform string concat operation, my output will be Windows 8. This is what you need to remember. Addition of two strings is what I can call it as string concat. Moving on to the next one, I have string copy. Copying the content of one string to another string is what I will call it as a string copy. So look here, what is that we have? What is the string? What is the syntax? strcpy. Same here also, string 1 and 2. So observe here, I have computer in string 1. I have science in string 2. What I will give? String copy str1 str2. So ನಾನೇನಾದರೂ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ str1 ಅನ್ನ, what will be my output? What will be my output? Science. What will be my output? It will become science. That's what you need to remember. ಇಲ್ಲಿ str1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ computer ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, str2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ science ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. So what is that I'm doing? str2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ str1 ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ str1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಈಗ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. What's the next topic that I have? String compare. Please understand, I'm comparing two different strings. How do we compare two different strings? Let's imagine I have A is equal to Mysuru. I have A is equal to Mysuru. This is one string, and the next string that I have is small m. I'm using small m. So what is that I have? I have two strings. One is A, another one is B. ಎರಡು ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ. A ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮೈಸೂರು ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. B ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಎಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್? What happens here? Please listen to me carefully. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬೈ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈಚ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್. ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್? ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೂ ಆಸ್ಕಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೂ ಆಸ್ಕಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ವೆನ್ ದ ಆಸ್ಕಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚಸ್, ದೆನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್. Suppose if the S1 is greater than S2, then it will give you the positive value that is greater than 0. Suppose if S1 is less than S2, then it will give you the negative value. S1 no, S2 ಗಿಂತ ASCII values ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. S1 is greater than S2 ಅಂತ. S1 is less than S2 ಆದರೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆದರೆ strings are equal. That's what you need to understand. Three concepts you have to remember. This is very, very important. S1 greater than. So imagine, ಇದು string 1 ನಾನು S1 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ, string 2 ನ S2 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ, ಅಥವಾ string 1 ಅಂತಾನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. String 1, if the string 1 ASCII value, ಏನು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ASCII value, string 1 ASCII value string 2 ಗಿನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ, so result will be positive. ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಆದರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ 1 ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ 2 ಗಿನ್ನ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಸೊ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ upper case and lower case are treated as different, but when it comes to CMPI, it will not treat the lower case or upper case. Both the cases are treated as same. That's what you need to understand. That is the only difference that you need to understand here. So that's very important. The next one that I have, other functions. Why do I use randomize and why do I use random in? So that's what you need to understand with respect to other functions. Why do I use randomize and why do I use random? So please understand, it initializes the seeds that random numbers are generated with the help of random number. What is the difference? Why should I use this randomize function? This randomize function will help me to generate the random number. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಈ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ನ? To generate the random number, we use this randomized number. What is this random n? So I don't have parameters here. Here I have parameter. Random n is a parameter. Please listen to me. It generates a random number between 0 to n minus 1. ಸೊ ನೀವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ನಂಬರ್ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ರೇಂಜ್, ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟೂ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಜನರೇಟ್ ದ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ನಂಬರ್. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ನಂಬರ್ ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ, ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ನಂಬರ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಟೂ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮೈಸ್, ಅನದರ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್. ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ಲಿ ಜನರೇಟ್, ಬಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೇಂಜ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬೇಕು, 1 ಇಂದ 10 ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ರೇಂಜ್. You will give the range here in the n value. That's what you need to understand. So guys, I think I have come to an end of this session. So please go back and check the different string functions that we have. Write down the syntax of each and every string functions. Practice that with the program. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care of your health.